There's a new paper recently published in the journal Nutrition suggesting that ketones are equally as dangerous as blood sugar when it comes to their effect on proteins and eventually our blood vessels. That's a concerning accusation or assertion if it's true. So let's find out if it's true. I'm Dr. Brett Scher, the medical director at dietdoctor.com. And this study came to my attention by Twitter. And there was quite a little bit of a buzz in Twitter about this. And I actually shouldn't even call it a study. And here's where really reading beyond the headlines makes a big difference, because it's not a study at all. This was a hypothesis paper. So the author, who clearly is very knowledgeable about chemistry, wrote a hypothesis paper stating that he believes there is enough chemistry and biochemistry to suggest that ketones may have effects on proteins that can mimic the same negative effects that glucose has. But here's one of the most important parts about this article is there isn't a shred of science. There isn't a shred of actual data to support it. So when I saw this, I was really curious. Is this an objective scientist really looking at something that he believes could be concerning? Or is this somebody sort of with an agenda coming up with a hypothesis to fit his agenda? And it didn't take long after reading the first few paragraphs. It seemed clear to me, and I don't know the person personally, I don't know anything about him, but it seemed clear to me reading this paper that it was somebody with an agenda. And here's why. He's clearly an intelligent person and understands chemistry, but he conflates nutritional science and nutritional research for low-carb diets defined as 40% of calories from carbohydrates and ketogenic diets. And he combines the two just without any respect for the fact that they are absolutely different. So he talks about how, studies show that ketogenic diets are associated with increased risk of death, which is completely not true. There are, as we've posted many times on our Diet Doctor website and on the YouTube channel, there are very poor quality observational studies using food frequency questionnaires with tiny razor-thin relative risks that show a diet of 40% carbohydrates, defining low carb, without any control for quality of diet, that those people have a slightly higher risk of dying than others. That says nothing about a ketogenic diet. And that is very clear, very obvious from the science that the ketogenic diet is different than that. But this author makes no attempt to separate the two, and in fact makes an attempt to combine the two. So right away starts to lose credibility. Then goes even further to saying ketoacidosis, the medical emergency that happens almost exclusively in people with type 1 diabetes who aren't getting enough insulin. The medical emergency of ketoacidosis is evidence of why ketones are dangerous. Well, again, nutritional ketosis is a completely different physiological condition and physiological state of being than ketoacidosis. So to combine the two, to say one is evidence that of the other is, to me, just trying to back into your pre-existing belief, trying to look for some evidence to back up your pre-existing belief, because they are totally different. And we clearly make that case in our continuing medical education course at Diet Doctor, which I encourage everybody to take and to share with your healthcare practitioners, because that's such an obvious misunderstanding about ketoacidosis and nutritional ketosis. They're completely different. And he goes on further. He talks about a study from Sweden that used a food frequency questionnaire once in 16 years, one time only. And the relative risk for those eating lower carb and higher protein was 1.04. That's like as small as you can get. And again, the lowest amount of carbs they ate was 123 grams, which is, again, nowhere near a ketogenic diet. So anyway, you can see my point that right away you can tell that this was somebody who had an agenda and was looking for a reason to support his agenda. So he used chemistry, which I can't begin to understand, to try and support his agenda in a hypothesis paper. So this doesn't deserve the attention it's getting, and I apologize, actually, for giving it even more attention here, but I want to set the record straight. If you read the headlines of the study and think ketones are dangerous, please understand this paper has nothing in it to support that ketones are actually dangerous. Instead, you can read about Brianna Stubbs posted on Twitter as well about papers showing how ketones can be have antioxidant beneficial properties. And We know how a ketogenic diet and a low carb diet can lower blood sugar and insulin and even reverse type 2 diabetes. Now it can help with weight loss, and how it can help with metabolic syndrome, and how it can be an inflammatory mediator by inhibiting LRP3 inflammasome. I mean, there are so many other positive and beneficial proven benefits of ketones that a paper like this really shouldn't even register on our radar screen at this point. So hope that was helpful. And please click subscribe down below so you'll get all our updates on our YouTube channel, and go over to dietdoctor.com where you can see the full article that I wrote about this, and of course all the other recipes and meal plans and guides and all the information we give you to make low carb living simple and hopefully provide you with the most accurate information there is. Be safe. Have a great day, everybody.